Hi, my name is Ellie Steele. I'm an advanced EFT practitioner. EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. If you're new to this technique, I would encourage you to do a little bit of research. This video will just give you the basics of the technique and show you how to do it, remind you where the points are. You can follow along with that. But I would like you to take responsibility for your own mental health here and make sure that this is a safe technique for you to use. It is an amazing self-help technique, but there are some situations where you might want to be with a licensed mental health professional. So just look into it before you actually start doing some EFT on your own. So the basic technique of EFT, we start with a rating on a scale of 0 to 10 or 1 to 10 of how high our intensity is about a certain issue. So let's just say, for example, you want to tap on an upset, something that has happened to you, and you want to tap on the emotions that you have about that. So you would rate the emotions or the feelings currently, right now in the moment, of how high they are. So if you've just had, let's say you've just had a fight with someone and you're really angry, how angry are you? So it's that 0 to 10 response of how angry are you. Now, this rating, it's called a subjective unit of distress. It varies depending on what you're using EFT for. So there's a lot to learn about EFT and the specific applications of it. But really, right now all you need to know is get a rating. So on a scale of 0 to 10, how intense is whatever it is that you're trying to deal with. That might be a physical thing, that might be a mental, emotional thing. So you would rate it first. And then you would tap through the setup phrase. So the setup phrase is where you have named the problem, you know what it is. So let's say in our example, you're angry at your spouse because of this fight you've just had, and let's say it's an 8 out of 10. You're pretty angry, okay? So just using that as an example. So you would say, even though I feel this anger, I deeply and completely accept myself. And so you would say that while you tap 2 to 3 fingers, it doesn't really matter, on the side of the hand. So we call this the karate chop point. It's very scientific, the karate chop point. So it's in that meaty part of the side of the hand. So you would just tap there. You only have to do that once. Original recipe did that 3 times, but now we only do it once in kind of official gold standard EFT. We do that one time while we repeat what it is we're upset about, and we give some sort of an acceptance phrase. Now, I just said, I deeply and completely accept myself. You can also say, I love and I accept myself completely. You can say, I validate that feeling. I recognize my anger. Anything that gives some validation to the emotion, or basically says, I have this emotion, but I'm okay, will work. Okay, so don't get too caught up in the language. If you can say, I love and I accept myself completely, even if it feels weird, because it does for most people initially, it feels kind of odd. It did for me too. Just try to say it if you can, because eventually it becomes true, and that's not a bad thing. So this is just a reminder. So you're doing this setup, even though I'm really angry at my spouse or at my partner, I deeply and completely accept myself. That's it. That's the setup phrase. Now you take 2 fingers and you start on the top of the head. So the easiest way to remember all the points, and this is the most up-to-date version of EFT as of 2021, you start on the top of the head, the crown of the head, you start there, and you tap with 2 to 3 fingers on this point. Now, an easy way to landmark the point is to put your thumbs in the tops of your ears and bring your fingers together on the crown of your head, and that will get you pretty close to where that point is. These points are about the size of a tip of a pen, so they're not very big. When you tap with 2 to 3 fingers in the general vicinity, you're going to stimulate the point. That's what we're trying to do. And you want to tap about 7 to 8 times on each point. Okay, so as you tap on the points, you repeat what we call the reminder phrase. The reminder phrase is where you just repeat the emotion or whatever it is you're trying to tap on. So in our case here, it would be this anger. Okay, so you would tap on that point and you would say, this anger. And then you would go immediately to the next point, which is the inside corner of the eyebrow. So this is right where the eyebrow starts, at the beginning of the eyebrow. It doesn't matter which side, it doesn't matter which hand. You can do both if you like that. The original recipe, again, just says one side, or sorry, gold standard says one side. It's fine. It's pretty forgiving. So you're just going to tap there 7 or 8 times, and you're going to say your reminder phrase again, this anger. And then you slide your fingers down your eyebrow and you go all the way down past your eyebrow into the shallow of the corner of your eye. It's right on the bone. It's very close to your eye, so be careful you don't harm yourself, don't poke yourself in the eye, but it's very close to the corner of the eye. And you can actually feel there's a little indentation on the bone. If you can feel it, that's the points are often protected by these bony structures. So it's right there in the corner of the eye. So you say again, this anger. And then you go directly under the eye. And again, it's on the bone. If you're looking straight ahead, it's directly under your pupil. And you would just say it again, this anger. And then you go directly under the nose. That's an easy one. And you just say it again, this anger. And then you go directly under the bottom lip or on the chin point, so right in the middle of the chin, and say this anger. Okay, the next one is the collarbone. This one's a little tricky. So if you have pronounced collarbones that stick out and you can feel the round end there on your clavicle on that bone, that's great. If you can feel those, just go about an inch underneath. It doesn't matter, again, it doesn't matter which side, it doesn't matter which hand. You can alternate, you can do both, it doesn't matter. So just go directly under that bone and tap there. Now, if you don't have these bony structures sticking out of your neck that help you landmark this like I do, you just kind of go in the nape of your neck, so right where you would knot a tie, and just go over an inch and down an inch. Okay, so that's another easy way to landmark that. One other way that we see people use with some success, and especially with kids, just to use a softly closed fist and just tap there kind of just below the nape of the neck or right in that point of the shallow of the neck. Okay, so that's the collarbone point, and you would just say it again, this anger. Okay, then we go into the arm. This one's also a little bit tricky to landmark. So an easy way to do this is to put one hand, if you have the flexibility. If you don't, I'll show you another way. So put one hand in your armpit, take your other hand, if you can do this with good shoulder mobility, and go directly underneath your baby finger of this hand and just press there. The point is generally right around there. It's right on the seam of your shirt, usually kind of midline of your body. And so once you've found the point, then you're going to use this hand to tap. Okay, so this is just to landmark it, just to find it, and then you're going to tap with this hand. Okay, again, either side, doesn't matter. If that's difficult for you, you can put both hands just like you're giving yourself a bit of a bear hug, and you can tap like that with one hand or both. Again, that's fine. But I find that this is the easiest, to just lift the arm up and go kind of right on the midline, just about a hand width below your armpit. It tends to be sore there, especially for women. There's lymphatic congestion often in that point, so it might be a little tender. That's okay, it will actually get better as you tap on it. Okay, that's all the points. So from the top of the head down to under the arm, that's one round of EFT. So we're just going to go through it again more quickly, and so you can get a little bit of flow. And of course, watch this video as many times as you need to start to get the basic tapping points down. Okay, so even though I have this anger, I acknowledge it, I love and I accept myself completely. All this anger. I'm so angry. All this anger. I feel 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 this anger. Okay, that's it. That's the basic recipe. Don't overthink it. If you miss a point, not the end of the world. Try to get all the points. They don't have to be in order. Again, it can be either side, either hand, so it's pretty forgiving. Give it a try, and watch some of my other videos for more specific application of EFT. This was just your basic intro to the points. Okay, thanks and have a great day.